All right. Welcome yet again to one of our behavior streams. Now, I never know how long segments are going to go. Today, I think we can get by with a relatively short stream, but I've been known to be wrong about that before. And, of course, today, I've actually been on a ketogenic diet for a while. And of course, my wife decided to go get tea from one of my favorite tea places. And of course, she broke me out of the diet. So I'm hopped up on sugar. Right? So if I'm a little bit more excited today, it's probably because I have more sugar running into my system than I'm used to. All right, so today we're going to talk about a very simple but still somewhat complicated problem, which is that people don't really understand the distinction between what a reward is and what a reinforcer is. And the problem is that these things overlap each other, that both rewards and reinforcers can promote an increase in behaviors. Now, in ABA, in order for something to be called a reinforcer, for it to actually have reinforcing values, it actually has to change the behavior and change it in a way that's going to increase the probability of it occurring again in the future. So if you use something and it increases the behavior occurring, then whatever you use is considered a reinforcer. And if it does nothing at all, it doesn't matter if it's ice cream, it doesn't matter if it's this or if it's that. If it does nothing, it's not a reinforcer. So anytime that we call something a reinforcer, it has demonstrated itself to be effective at changing a child's behaviors. Now, there are all kinds of rewards in the world, right? There's all kinds of rewards. Now, whether any particular reward is a reinforcer really just depends on any individual. Now, in general, most rewards are tangible items, things that you can touch, feel, taste, that are real. Now, the thing is, rewards can easily promote your child listening to you better, can easily increase their desired behaviors, can easily just get them to do things at the best of their ability if they really like the reward. The problem is that all rewards are extrinsic in nature, meaning that it doesn't come from the child, it comes from the environment, that there's something external to the child that is motivating them. Now, the thing is then, if the child really likes the reward, they're going to be extremely motivated to listen to you to get whatever it is that they want. So if they want that snack, oh, sure, I'll listen to you. Oh, I want that tablet. Yes. Whatever you want me to do, I'm likely to do. And they are not doing what you ask them to do because they want to listen to you or they want to make you happy. They're doing what you're asking them to do for that reward. Right? Now, the thing that I want everybody to kind of understand, because I think there's actually just a lot of misunderstanding about this in kind of everyday life, and even in education, people still don't quite grasp this concept, is that self-esteem, enjoyment, they all flow from accomplishment. So we derive self-esteem and enjoyment when we accomplish something, like, oh, there's a math concept that I struggle with, and I got it. Now, the thing is, just people complimenting us, telling us we did something great, telling us all of those kind of things is only reinforcing, only bolsters self-esteem, only adds to it when we see that we've accomplished something, when we believe that what we've done has merit. So the thing is that when we go and we accomplish something, we derive some joy from it. And then when people pile on compliments, then it bolsters that, you know? However, on the other side of it, if we ourselves don't feel accomplished in something, let's say I'm an artist and I drew something and I look at it like, man, that's not very good at all. It honestly doesn't matter if 1,000 people came up to me telling me how wonderful that work is, because I know art. I'm happy you told me that, but I know art. I know you're wrong. That's not very good. So when you go and ask your child to clap and maybe even help them clap, okay, them clapping is an accomplishment for them, okay? And then when you give them something that they love, whether it's tickles, whether it's being thrown up in the air, whether it's giving them their favorite treat or whatnot, what happens is that that accomplishment is reinforced, okay? And which means that whatever enjoyment they derive from it, even if it's a little bit, okay, we're making it bigger. We're fanning the flames. Now, the thing is, when I say reinforcer, remember, well, I'm talking about something that for sure is going to improve or increase the probability of them repeating what it is that they're doing, which means that you're using stuff that the child loves to support what they're doing. So the thing is that this is something that through all of my consults, whenever I'm doing any of my consults for parents that are kind of newer to ABA and things like that, you know, they're like, well, why should I reinforce them? I helped them. Now it's either that or the parents will use something that they like, but the child hates. So my son, he loves being tickled. He loves it. All right. My daughter, she hates it. Absolutely. Like they're opposites. I've talked about how opposite they're in previous streams, but they literally are opposites from each other, you know, which means that, oh, when my son does something, if I tickle him, it's going to highly reinforce whatever it is that he did. If I do the same with my daughter, she's going to stop doing what I want her to continue to do, which means that you have to know your child and not just be like, oh, I really like pinching his face, or I really like doing this to my child when they don't like something, you know? So you want to make sure you're utilizing things that you know for sure your child enjoys. So remember, the reinforcement that you're going to be using has to be specific to your child, tailored to your child, whatever it is that your child likes, okay? Now, the thing is, look up reinforcement sampling if we have it somewhere up there, okay? Because in reinforcement sampling, we teach parents how to diversify the things that their child enjoys, okay? Now, that's about diversification. That's about us actually actively working on making sure that the child is able to enjoy more and more and more interactions, enjoy more things from the environment, enjoy all of those kind of stuff. But it's about teaching them that enjoyment. When you're actually working with your child and they listen to you, at that point, you really want to utilize those things that for sure that they enjoy. Now, when you're thinking about those kind of things, the thing is that you want to start pairing the things that they love with other things that they may not like right now, okay? So for your child, maybe the vocal reinforcement means nothing to them. You saying, yay, good job, fantastic, woo! It might mean zero to the child. They might not care about any of that stuff, okay? However, every time that they do something well and you're like, here's a gummy, woo, you did great, okay? You're pairing the enjoyment that they have with that snack with your social reinforcement. Now, the thing is that you want to make sure that you're matching the reinforcers that your child loves and likes to how hard they're working, to how much they're trying, how much effort they're putting in. And so that when they put in their most highest level of effort, they suddenly accomplish something that they've struggled with. That's when you give them the highest level reinforcer. You don't dispense the highest level reinforcer for any response that they give. What you have to really know is, oh, this is the best my child's done, or this is one of the best that they've done, and reinforce those. Now, the reinforcers that you're going to choose to use, like I said, should be tailored to the child, tailored to how much effort they're putting in. And what happens is that when the child does what you ask them to do, then you give them that reinforcer. Now, if you were to say like, oh, here's some M&Ms and here's some other gummies, what do you want to work for? And then, okay, I want to work for gummies. And then you start in on the task. Now, what that's become is that's no longer technically a reinforcer. Now, that's a reward, okay? And that reward they know is coming after they listen to you, which means that the reason that they would even bother listening to you is to get the reward, which is great because they're motivated. They'll listen to you. They'll do all those things, which kind of makes it the lazy man's ABA. Yes, I can get compliance right away. Yes, I can get my child to listen right away. But the reason that your child's listening to you is not anything other than, I want that gummy and I'll do what I need to do to get that gummy. Now, a question might arise, which might be like, well, like, at what point does a reward become a bribe? Now, a bribe is when the child misbehaves first, and then you bring in something to entice the child to change their behavior. So the child comes over nicely. You say, hey, do you want to work for this? Or is this something you want? And they say, yes, that's something I want. That's a reward. If the child comes over and before you start teaching them, they start whining, they start crying, maybe they hit you, they do something like that, and then you bring in a reward saying like, oh, don't you want this? You know, like this is what you're working for. That's a bribe. The child comes over, you tell them to do something, they do it well, and then you give them a gummy. That's reinforcement. Now, the thing is, some rewards and some reinforcers are sometimes a little bit too powerful, in which case the child gets obsessed with it, okay? In which case you have to be careful with those particular items. So with those, you try to use those as sparingly as possible because they get hooked on it and then they constantly are asking and wanting it, you know? So you just want to be careful with those and really be selective about when you use them because you want it to be like on the child's absolute best responses, things like that. And it should be something that just sprung on them without them knowing that it's coming. Now, the thing is, you know, rewards by and of themselves are not bad. You know, they're not the villains here. They are just a part of everyday life. They're part of our lives. They're part of everybody's lives. They're part of classrooms. They're part, like, you know, we have rewards all around us. The problem is that when you're talking about treatment and using rewards, what happens is that the rewards are always used every single day, every moment of teaching, and exclusively produce a child that's just completely reliant on external motivation to listen and comply. Now, the thing is, the goal of all of our treatment is to build internal motivation for the child to do things, whether they do things for themselves, do things to make you happy, but it's to build that internal motivation. So there's nothing wrong with using food. There's nothing wrong with using their favorite toys or the activities or any of those kind of things. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you want to make sure you try your best to make sure that it's a reinforcer and not a reward, that you're not relying on this external motivator to do the hard work, what you're doing is they're listening to you, and as a byproduct of listening to you, there's reinforcement from these other items that supports them listening to you. So hopefully this little lecture helped you kind of understand the distinction between those things that are very commonplace in everything. However, if for whatever reason I was unclear, I'm going to blame the tea that I had for that, but please comment and let me know, and I'll try to clarify any points. Thanks, everybody. Again, greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to our stream. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything, make sure you write it in the comment section. The things that we could improve on, by all means, let us know. If we're not doing something great, we can do it better, let us know. Now, just remember, please take a little bit of time to hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and tell everybody about us. Again, we're here to help as many families as we can reach. All right. See everybody next time. Bye-bye.